Alright guys, so this video for you poker players, this one's not for you. This is going to be the last video that I make for the spinal cord simulator, or for my back. So you guys just know, I mean, I get a ton of messages regarding the back, how it's doing, and I appreciate all those messages, but I find myself responding the same way to multiple emails. So this is going to debunk it all. And for those of you that have dealt with maybe chronic pain, back pain, neck pain, any kind of pain, you were well. So I think I inherited the back pain, a little of it from you.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. My mother had it.
Your mother, Wardell, had it.
Yeah.
Yep. So Wardell was Pops. So for those of you that are experiencing that, which I feel like it's, I mean, if you're 40, 50 years old, you've had some kind of back issues. It doesn't matter if it, and everyone seems the worst, right? It doesn't matter if you just, put a rib out, or if you tweaked your back. It's the worst thing going on. And so my personal story was, I had back pain for 25 years. Since I was in high school, I remember being on the baseball field and saying, man, my back I just need to sit down and relax. I just need to sit down. It was tired. It was just always stressed, it seemed like. And so I went fast forward. I played sports a lot, bowled, played a little soccer for a little bit, a lot of baseball, a lot of basketball, and I played a little golf in my early years. And then I hung up the golf clubs because I couldn't play. I couldn't get into the twist. It was bothering my back too much. So I threw those golf clubs up on the shelf, and as of recent, we pulled the golf clubs back out. So obviously that's good news, right? So, but I've been active my whole life. Have been in a couple car accidents, which didn't do me any justice. Been in some bad spots. You guys have all been there. You guys know what I'm talking about. When you get locked up or your back goes out, there's nothing you can do. You can pray. You can take medication. You can lay down, and that's about all you're gonna do. And you just hope that the sun, moon, and stars all line up, and it's gonna go away. So I know for me personally, so my story as far as narcotics or prescriptions, my whole life I always had a hard time taking them. And I don't know, I mean, we've had a family that, we all, and not pointing fingers by any means, I'm just telling you the story. Some have done medications, and some have not. So what I'm just saying is I respected the medications. The medications I understand, when I say medication, Percocet was the one that put me in a space to where I said, okay, it's like a power pellet for me. If you played Pac-Man, okay, once that Packer, whatever it is, once he hit that power pellet, boom, he was invincible. He could do anything, and I could get into different spaces with that. But at the same time, you have to respect it, right? Because we hear the stories all day of the week. We know what goes on with that stuff. So for those of you that are in that space and you're trying to get out, I get it, because you don't want to be a slave to anything. And I remember about 4 years ago, this was the last time that I was caught. And when I say caught, I mean I was sitting on the couch. I went to get up, and I couldn't get up, and I went right to my knees. And it was late at night. Everybody was sleeping in the house, so I didn't want to shout through the house. And it was probably like 2:30 in the morning, and I knew the person that I was with, she would be up at about 6 o'clock, and my back went out. And listen, you're talking to a guy who says, hey, you can do anything you want to do, right? You can, if you want to come over here, you want to move mountains, just move mountains. I could not get up. I was locked to the floor. I couldn't move left, I couldn't move right. So when I was laying, I laid on my elbow and my shoulder was up against the couch, and I was laying there and I couldn't make a move. Now I knew this. I knew I always had a reserve. Like I have like 5 to 6 Percocets that I have for that day. It only happens maybe twice every 10 years, but man, I'm just saying that's what I have that reserve for. But I couldn't get up there, so I had to wait till about 6 in the morning, and then because my phone wasn't even in reach, and so I could see my phone where it was at. I couldn't get up. I was on the ground and couldn't get up. It was the most incredible thing. So what I'm portraying to you is this: is you might be in a bad space, but I can tell you this: the hardest part about pain. The hardest part is not knowing if you're ever going to get out of that slot. That's the hardest part, because if I knew I only had to go through it for 4 years, and after 4 years I would be done, I can live with that. But living with, do you have to live with this constant pain the rest of your life? That's the hard part, right? You guys all know what I'm talking about. I know you do, so I don't even have to tell you that. So what happened was, in 2010, for me, I took my daughter to Disney. I just remember it so vividly because I took her to Disney, and every about minute to minute and a half I had to sit down because my back was at the all-time, it was at the worst. And I feel like what helped me get through that time period was I was in network marketing for years, and a company, I'll give them a shout out. I'm not affiliated with them anymore, but the Amway company, man, that company taught me more about myself and self-development than any college could. I learned more in that. But what I learned was during that time when it was so dim, to know it's just a season. Everything can kink out. It can work out. Don't think this is gonna be your current circumstance forever. And so that's what I'm encouraging you, because some of you guys, you're looking at tall buildings, not in a joking way. I understand. I mean, I never planned out a suicide, but I could understand why people did at that point when the pain is so immense. When you can't sleep, you can't rest, you can't move, you can't enjoy your life. There's all these can'ts that you can't do, but it will get better. There's a solution out there for everyone. Someone there is. It just hasn't been detected yet. So in 2011, we finally went through with what we called a 2-level fusion, and I did a 2-level fusion that was L4, L5, S1, and Tim Heilman out of East Lansing, Michigan, came and did my work. He did a fabulous job. He came in there, got me tightened up, and it was amazing because I had a sciatic nerve issue as well, going down my left side of my leg. And I can remember that this was 12 years ago. I can remember this like it's yesterday. The pain is so intense. It doesn't release. Every 3 seconds, it tells you what you're doing, what you're going to do. When can you move? Do you want to go out? No, I don't want to go out. I just want to stay home and do nothing. So I get it, guys. And so I had that surgery done. Ironically, after about 6 months, the screws cracked in my back. And so I went from being locked and straight up to boom, back, and there was movement back in the joints. So then I'm back to square one, right? With the back surgery, I'm like, oh shit, here we go. So 4 years later, he says, we could try to take out the heads. He says, we can't guarantee anything, but we can give it a shot. And the back surgery, if you guys have done back surgery, there's minor league pain and there's major league pain. You don't know the difference until you've been to major leagues. Once you've been in the major league pain, you know what the difference is. I haven't experienced any pain like that intense, but I say that for this reason. I had that surgery done in 2015. Nothing happened. I got in a car accident, man. Life was tough for a little bit. Long story short, 2019 comes, and I said, Doc, man, I got to do something, man. I'm almost to the space I was in 2010, and I said, it's just my quality of life is just terrible, man. And he says, well, we can look at doing a spinal cord simulator. He said they've come a long way in this time frame. And my fear was this, is putting something in my body. That was my biggest fear on the spinal cord. I'm like, is there any other options? Because in the spinal cord simulator, what they do is there's like this unit right above your cheek. In my case, it's my right butt cheek. And the leads go right up, they go right up my spine. And what it does is it scrambles the information to the brain. It doesn't, my body still has the pain, but my mind does not reciprocate the pain. So it doesn't understand it. It just scrambles that information, which is miraculous. Whoever came up with this, I tell you, it's just incredible. So I said, I was at a space. I said, man, what was that? That was 4 years ago. So I was 44. And you still feel like you have 30, 40 years of life at least. So I elected to go with it. After, when I went on YouTube, I didn't find that many, there wasn't that many videos. Now there's a little bit more out there because as it gets more popular, more and more people. But I'm saying this for you guys because this is just information to help you make a quality decision, right? The number one question I get asked is, be honest with me, how is your simulator today? Like I'm gonna lie to you. I don't sell the devices. I'm just a walking spokesperson for this. So for me, when I set up, there's a couple other videos out there that I went through that explained day to day what I did, what happened the day before my spinal cord surgery, and it's more in vivid detail. I'm just here to tell you with my story today as 2023 is that I have sorry guys, we're in construction zone here in Michigan. Out of 2023, my pain levels used to be 8.5 or 9. I always feel like I can give a little bit more or little less because it can always be worse, but that's how high the pain levels were. My pain level on a day-to-day basis today is 0. I don't even if it is a 1, I don't even count it because of what I remember what I went through in the past. And so when you take in consideration, would you ask me, if you're sitting across from me right now, you're talking to me, say, would you do it again? I would have did it 10 times faster, and I would have got it. If they said, would you have gotten this in 1995? I would have got it in 1994 before it even collapsed in there to get out of that space and get back to a quality of life. I do a golf channel now. I just started playing golf 3 years ago because now I can get into a space of playing. I played baseball for years. I gave up baseball because baseball was too hard on my body and my back. So that was my passion. That's what I love to do, my life. I still would love to do it, but I'm afraid because I don't want to go back to that space more than I would like to play baseball. So if that makes any sense, but so long story short, I play basketball a couple days a week. I don't lift anything, I will tell you that. And it's not because I can't, it's because I don't mess around. I won't sit there and bend over and pick up something worthless. You don't know when that thing's gonna go, right? It's just, we've done it before, we know what spaces to get in and out of. But I'll tell you this, guys, do not hesitate with this. You can do the trial run, and they'll set up a trial for you, and then you'll know, because they say if they can get the pain, if they can get it to half of what you have now, that's the goal. And I said, I'll take that. I would take a 4 all day of the week. I'll take a 6. The 8s and 9s, they're too intense. But I'm telling you, you don't have to live with it, man. I can remember buying all the back to life stuff I bought inversion tables. I bought teeter hang-ups. I bought information over information over information. Getting a personal trainer to get myself into and I'm not saying you do need a personal trainer. That helps. It all does help. But there's some situations that it's not just, hey, you're gonna work more on your ab muscles and your hips and things of that. And so I will say this too is I had a baseball coach who I really admired for years and years, and he threw a lot of BP to me over the years. He's probably been throwing baseballs, and he still does. He's a coach in East Lansing, Coach Johnson. A lot of respect for Coach. And Coach had the same surgery that I had like a year later, and I remember he was terrified to do it. And just like we all are, we're all terrified. It's not, you're playing with your back, man. We're not playing with, silly putty. It's your life. So, he had the surgery done, and then he's like, I don't know if it's working out. I don't know if it's working out. I said, I get it, man. Pace yourself. Because I took a journal, because you never realize how it's just like your life, right? If you're doing your finances, you don't realize, if you're not monitoring every day, you don't realize how far you've actually come in your life. And especially when you're dealing with pain, yesterday's pain seems like the same level as today. And then it's tomorrow. But week to week and month to month, the pain does eventually go away. You just are so locked into it right now. And so he was out for the standard 90 days. And then, his screws didn't break, so it worked out for him. So I'm just saying, where he was in a space where he thought it's never going to get better, he's never going to be able to golf, he's never going to be able to do any baseball stuff, and the guy's fine and dandy today. He's moving around. So you didn't elect to go with the surgery, though.
Well, it's ironic that you're talking about it today, because this morning I emailed Sally on Facebook, or Sandy. Yep. And I was telling her how she couldn't imagine all the energy I got, like cooking and decorating outdoors. Well, my energy has come down to 3 minutes outdoors, but 20 minutes to a half an hour laying down. That's what I told her. It used to be, even, and then 5 minutes, but now I'm down to 3, but I still can get it done. Yes, I thought I'd like to have that surgery, but I'm kind of old, I think. I think I'm too old to go through it. But after listening to you talk again, because my pain is, most of it's the lower back into my legs, but then again, I have it up above, and oh well. I think I'm learning not to kind of live with it, like you said you had to. It's for the younger people. If you got back trouble, go do something about it, because there's help out there. The longer you wait, the more these scientists learn things. So,
if you could have got it done 40 years ago,
I definitely would have.
Yeah, it would took a lot out of the equation.
There's a woman in where I live that had, like you had, the pack, but she's in her 60s. I would have done it in my 60s. I just feel I'm getting closer to 90 now, so I just feel I shouldn't do it now.
You'll be ready to play some slots, though. So, anyways, guys, that's that. This will be the last video I make of my back and what it's done for me, unless it does. If something happens, the only thing that could happen would be if something happened to it, then that would be something I would update you on. But as far as how it's worked, I would definitely say go through it. You have to, there's a quality of life that you meet, right? And so you can appreciate every day to day more, and understand you're going through it for a reason. I can't explain to you, I'm no messiah. I can't explain why you're going through it, but you're going through it for a reason. And
any kind of sicknesses or illnesses, yeah.
That's right.
Any kind.
And you say, well, what would it be? Well, for me, it slowed me down in life a little bit. It slowed me down, and came to terms with what was important and maybe what was not important. That was for me. So it slowed me down and helped me realize that I don't have to be under the gun all the time. I don't have to be pushing. And that was just me though. So everybody has a different, and you're going through it. Just understand it, and I understand it's real difficult to see when the mud is all in your eyes and the crap is in your eyes, but know you're going to come out of it and it's going to be glorious and you're going to be fine and you're going to have a story to tell as well. So I spent 1 year in the downstairs of my house with laying on the ground with my feet on the chair, because that was the only position I could get into to relieve that space, just to take the space off of my back so the pressure wasn't there. Every time I walk over to somebody's house and I would look and I would start leaning on a cabinet that they have or leaning on the wall, the first thing you look at when you walk into somewhere is, where can I sit down? You know, I get it, man, I really do. But understand this, is that I'm not a spokesman for anybody. I'm using the Medtronics spinal cord simulator, and you know, and it worked out for me. Tim Heilman did it in East Lansing, so that's the data I have.
You don't want to overload on pain pills. You know, I was on the patch for years, and all this news on TV about people overdoing it and dying and everything scared me. So I started cutting my patches down smaller and smaller, and then I went to the doctor and said, I don't need these patches no more. But I am on pain pills. And I'll tell you what, I can't, in the mornings it's really bad, but you have to take something if you've got a bad back. But know that if you take them too soon, too close together because you want to feel better, that's not good either. You've got to space yourself.
Yeah, there's a balance. There's a balance point. And sometimes, you know, sometimes we look at ourselves, if we take them that we're weak. I used to look at it like that. I really did. I'll be honest with you. I did. I looked at it like, you just got the pain and take it. Man, when I have a surgery, I want the pain medication. I want to be comfortable more than anything. But I don't want that pain medicine to control my life. Right. That's what it comes down to. So anyways, guys, this video is already 20-some minutes long, and we're going to Firekeepers Casino, believe it or not. We will see. Hopefully you back, people. This is enough data for you and information, and I hope you get yourself in a quality of life. Next year, you're in a whole different space. So I hope for our concern is we don't have to make any more videos, because you just know everything's right where it needs to be. All right, guys, there's a couple other videos. If you haven't seen them, I'll link them below, and you can go on there, and that's what happened the same exact week of when I had the surgery, in case there was some stuff I missed in there. All right, Ma, you got anything else?
Yes,
all right, good.